Alright, so today I felt like I wanted to do a certain video, but I wasn't really sure what kind of video I wanted to do. But I thought about it for a while, and I had one idea in my head that I felt like I wanted to do, and I've actually wanted to do this for a while. Today's video, I am going to be talking about the Xbox Series S. So I want to say that I got the Xbox Series S in 2021 as a Christmas gift, and I've been using it since then. And I want to say that I felt like I wanted to review the Xbox Series S, but I just really wasn't sure when the perfect time was, so let's get started. So the first thing that I want to talk about is the controller. Now the controller is obviously coming from, or the design is very similar to what the Xbox One came with, which is very similar to this design. But I want to say that I did come from the Xbox 360 when I got my Series S, so the controller to me it feels like a fresh start. It feels fairly nice. I like the feel. It's got a little bit of a texture under here where you normally have your hands at. There's a texture on the trigger buttons. This has a USB-C port and it takes AA batteries. Now, a lot of people are going to say that the AA batteries, like having to use rechargeable batteries, are better. I'm kind of half and half, because if you have rechargeable batteries, then the controller is going to die one day. But if you have a controller with AA batteries, then you can just swap the batteries out, and then there you go. You can use your controller still. Now, I do have to say that I really do like the controller, but I don't like the color as much anymore. When I first got the controller, I liked the color, but because, especially if you're a hard gamer and drinking a lot of drinks and stuff like that, this is gonna probably get real dirty real quick. And I feel like that if anything, this controller is just gonna turn a different color. It's not gonna look as good unless you got like a different controller, which is gonna be like a different color. So the color, I'm not a huge fan of nowadays. All right, enough about the controller. Let's talk about the console. Alright, so the first thing that I want to talk about with this console is how small it is. Now, this has a 512 gigabyte SSD in it, which is a lot of storage, although it comes with 364 gigabytes of usable storage, so that kind of makes sense. But I have to say that this is very slim for the console. I like how slim this is. This is fairly heavy, but although you're not supposed to be carrying it all the time unless you're like having that portable suitcase thing with the screen in it. But I have to say that I really do like how slim it is. It's not that big. It actually fits in my setup really nicely. They don't really have any colors. If you're wanting to buy like a Xbox Series S, you're gonna pretty much get a white one. If you wanted to get the Series X, you're gonna have to get the color that they have for it. So one thing that I want to bring up right now, because I think if anything, this is one of the things which I had, at least for the time, I'm going to get a little bit more into it right now, is that this thing does not have a disc drive in it. And when I got the Xbox Series S, I wasn't really sure about the whole digital thing, like having all your digital games on there. I wasn't really sure about it because I had my Xbox 360 since 2014, and I have always played like physical games. So for me, I wasn't really sure how I was going to like the whole digital thing, so having no disc drive was something I was like, oh no, I'm not going to be able to play any of my Xbox 360 games and all that kind of stuff. But in some way, I have to say that I really do like the whole digital gaming thing. But I'm going to get into a little bit more into this guy interface and stuff like that in a second, but I want to show you around the ports. So this console has got a power supply in it, which means that unlike the Xbox One, you could plug a 2-prong cable into it and then it turns on and you don't have to worry about the power supply. This has got a storage expansion port, which I'm not sure what format it's taking. I feel like it takes compact flash, but I don't think that is what it takes. It's got an HDMI out, 2 USB ports, and an Ethernet port to obviously hook up to internet a lot faster instead of having to go over the wireless. It's got 1 USB port on the front with a button on there, which basically makes it so it transmits some sort of signal to be able to connect new controllers up. And it's got the Xbox button, which pretty much means that you can turn on the Xbox from that port. It's also got a fan on the top, which is meaning that that it's going to obviously be blowing out hot air. I think if anything, it's very silent. It's very silent. And because this is not dealing with a mechanical hard drive and it's not as power hungry, it's definitely not going to be too loud. All right, so I'm going to turn on my Xbox Series S in 3, 2, 1. Oh. So what I originally had in mind is that I was going to use the thing which was going to basically have the logo come up because I unplugged it, but instead it came up with this. And also, I'm so sorry that the camera is far away. I broke my tripod a couple weeks ago, so I have to use my phone stand to be able to do this. So I have to say, for the OS side of things, I really do like it. It's got Microsoft Edge and stuff. It's got the Microsoft Store. And I really do like the OS that the Xbox Series S ships with. It's pretty much the same thing that the Xbox Series X will ship with, but I also have my own custom wallpaper in the background. So a game that I will start off with is Forza Horizon 4. I'm not going to let you sit through a camera pointed to the TV because that's not going to count as showing you the graphics and everything. So I actually will get some gameplay footage. Okay, so the first game that I will be including in this video is Forza Horizon 4. Now, this is optimized for the Xbox Series X/S, so I want to say that this is a little bit more of an updated version of Forza Horizon 4, which means that this is a little more graphically advanced. And as you can see, the graphics are fairly nice, and you can see all the shading and all the renders working really nicely. Now, the reason that it looks so good is because it's at 1440p at 120 frames per second with the sound capabilities of being able to go into Dolby Digital 5.1 and DTS 5.1. Now, I'm going to quickly talk about the specs. The amount of memory it has is 10 gigabytes of memory, along with the custom Zen 2 CPU running at 3.6 gigahertz, along with the GPU being a custom RDNA custom GPU. Now, I'm not great about talking about tech specs, but if I were to give my opinion about the quality and how good it looks, I think if anything it's great. The Xbox Series S does a very good job of optimizing games, especially that were made for the optimized for Series X/S games. Now, not saying that the Xbox Series S can't handle older games as well, because I have a few Xbox 360 games that I bought a couple months back, including Saint Rose 2 and Midnight Club, and both of these games look great, even though they were meant for the Xbox 360. And I want to say that majority of the games on the Xbox Series S look amazing, and even the Xbox 360 games are able to look amazing. And even with the small catalog of games that are able to go with backwards compatibility, those games still look amazing. And it kind of sucks that some of the games that are not available on the backwards compatibility lists aren't available, because these games would look great. Now, time to give my opinion about the console of the Xbox Series S real quickly. Now, I want to say that the console is great if you're wanting to get into the Xbox, but you don't want to pay for the highest end console. Now, I think if anything, the Xbox Series S is great if you're looking to get into all digital games, since this console is mostly meant to be for entertainment, but it can play some really good video games too. Now, I wish it had a disc drive because I could play like Blu-rays and all that kind of stuff in my console, but even though it's meant to be the digital console, I wish it had a disc drive. So I want to say thank you guys for watching this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. Comment, like, and subscribe, and I hope I see you guys in the next video. Bye.
Back that ass up. Yep.